Okay, something we must do. Pretty cool picture, right? Something we're gonna have to get to is first the achievements. Just a quick one. The daily achievement. We're gonna do Lucky Tail. You're gonna do Super Lucky Tail, but you're gonna do the first one, not the new Super Lucky Tail, which the new Super Lucky Tail is an indie game. The reason we're doing that is because we're also gonna have to download, because on Xbox Game Pass you're getting both the DLCs, so we're gonna download both the DLCs, and just a lot of easy achievements. But of course, there's Kick the Sandcastle is an easy achievement, but we're going to be grinding on all these levels, okay, because there's a lot of levels. Under Pressure is not too hard of an achievement, and it's a level that's very needed, even for, experienced gamers, not experienced gamers. It's all kinds of gamers, and but it's to make you a better gamer. So the value is, after doing this, almost every other game that has an achievement on Xbox that you're struggling with will become a little easier. So Under Pressure is the level in the Lucky Tail, and it will be in the DLC like the Guardian Trial, and you'll find it. It's not even hard to find. It's to the right of the level selections. So the DLC, thank gosh, the DLC doesn't make it difficult at all either. You could just go to it versus you're not forced to go through other stuff. But yeah, that's your daily achievement, and that's that's a really good one to get at because of it's, oh my gosh, there's too many. There's too many video games, but there's if you're not gonna start learning how to play, better at video games, or you're just gonna be going for these easy achievements, you're gonna run into problems, and you're just not gonna but you're gonna you're just not gonna. It's crazy. You're gonna fall behind. And eventually you're going to have to learn something in a video game, which is crazy. You're going to have to learn some kind of format of whether completing a campaign of a game, or, you have to have some kind of step of that. And all the other easy achievements that we're going to go to in the future of are what I consider zombie achievements. And zombie achievements are easy, but it's best to get this done with, because even if it's a hard puzzle like this, okay, so it's just about the same adequate as killing 1,000 enemies or doing something like that. It's all the 100,000 enemies are very straightforward. It's just finding this enemy and keep killing it kind of thing. But that's also time consuming. Those are time consuming, so those are due to different things. But yeah, so today's really good content, by the way, very good content. We'll jump into, of course, Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, so I don't know how I'm a wizard at this, just a wizard, or like a master or something, or but eventually we're going to talk about this. So we're going to talk about this, okay? First time I talked about this, I remember it was a while back, but now we're just at it. Okay, so there's this hand trap. It's called Nibiru. It is considered to be a banned or limited card. I think you could just limit it and put it at 1. And that would be good too, but don't be surprised if it's to also be banned, banned or limited. And now we're gonna explain the complex reasoning of this, okay? It's not just that almost everybody's playing Nibiru, okay? Because that's another thing, but that is an important thing, because it's once again the Ash argument. It's the Baron Pizza argument, Baron de Fleur. It's but okay, so Nibiru is unlike Droll. Droll punishes you when you draw it because sometimes you're not wanting to activate Droll. You're wanting to save your Droll. You're wanting Droll. Has a condition that basically gives your opponent a chance to get back at you because you're not. Just the way that Droll works. It's that's why Droll's always a fair card when compared to Ash. But okay, so why people? You can ask a lot of people around the Yu-Gi-Oh community and Yu-Gi-Oh people. They'll be mad at this one, but like the reason Nibiru needs to be okay. So, um, it's another steal your opponent's turn. Like it's another. It doesn't come across as that, but like it's one more distraction to skipping your opponent's turn, like your opponent ending with a odd turn, and then it getting to your turn. And even if you have like the mirror, where like let's say, because there is flaws in Nibiru, but they're not really flaws at all. They're disguised as flaws. Like for one of them, they would say is you get a beat stick, okay, but like the beat stick is not in the grand scheme. The beat stick is not like gonna punish you. Sometimes it does punish you, but it's rarely it punishes you. And the beat stick method is like because it's like a powerful creature coming at you, but like I mean, it has to have flaws. Every Yu-Gi-Oh card now has to have flaws. Okay, so that's not the point case with it. Another point case that's like not with it. Okay, is that like they'll also use they'll use all kinds of excuses. They'll use the extra material, like it's an extra material to go into things, But okay, so if it wasn't just like a card that said in general, I tribute everything on the field, okay? If it didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna tribute and get rid of every of your cards on the field, kind of thing. And tribute just goes against many things. Like it goes against many floodgates. It's able to like get around floodgates, and like certain floodgates they want to negate. Like they want to negate Nibiru, cannot negate Nibiru. Not every card can negate Nibiru. So Nibiru is like, okay, so while it seems like an equalizer card, okay, if you even have like the mirror scenario, but then you've even got ridiculous scenarios just like where they have two Nibirus in their hand, okay, and sometimes you can get punished if you have two Nibirus and you don't have the right cards, but that rarely happens, and it's practically never happening. It just never happens. Nibiru is a card like when you're facing a very good competitive player, you're gonna have to do something to throw them off. And Nibiru, another problem that makes Nibiru such a powerful card is it can be dropped almost like whenever. So there's many different times in a sequence of chains and effects that you will be able to bring out Nibiru. So you'll be able to like. You can stop like their small functions, which sometimes stopping their full. It can stop two different functions. It could go after an extra deck, or it could go after like small functions, like the functions to set up the board so they make the good board. Another thing it just does a lot of things. It does too much. Even if like your opponent plays it and then you play it, okay, the chances are that you're still getting an unfair advantage over them. And sometimes when they're responding with Nibiru, you've already designed your deck to handle Nibiru in a certain scenario, of like, and even if you like prepare for Nibiru, okay, so you go into this tournament and you're trying to prepare around Nibiru. It doesn't matter anything because like Yu-Gi-Oh always has the random opening hands, and there's times where yes, you will have a duel where you won't even have Nibiru. You'll open, but like it's the fact that the cards that you most likely won't have, you will just not have. You will not have these cards, and it's also a rough card because like even when like they make the argument of like trying because many people try to make the argument of it being at 3, and the reason I say it needs to be banned or limited is because okay, so at 3, like a 3 deck slot, okay, um, it's not a good argument not to have even like Konami creating extra deck cards to combat problems in Yu-Gi-Oh meta. That's very poorly done. Doesn't even make sense market wise why they wouldn't add another, just another expensive card to balance it. Yeah, because like your opponent's gotta have access to the extra deck anytime they want. Okay, but they're not going to have access to the hand traps. And that's the thing about hand traps. Hand traps, the only way they're going to have access to is they're going to have to search it, okay? But it's just like it's also a bad, it's like a bad excuse. It's a very good card, but it's also, it's a card that's not healthy on the game because it leads to people thinking that they're entering a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament or they're entering a Yu-Gi-Oh event and it's fair. It's not fair. Nibiru doesn't make it fair, and also not even drawing Nibiru, okay, leads them to like leeway to them saying, oh, we have Nibiru, everything's okay, and not everything is okay. And it needs, that's an important thing. And stingy Yu-Gi-Oh players, I'm telling you, a majority of the Yu-Gi-Oh community will stand up with Nibiru, but Nibiru needs to go. And Nibiru does. It's crazy because like Dark Ruler is not like a quick effect interruption. So Dark Ruler has like drawbacks that make sense, but like Nibiru is just too fast of a card, just to be able to do that. And it's like when it first even came out, it was like a no-brainer. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing this. And then like if you tried to like, you could see how crappy. Oh my gosh! And I'm not trying to like make you mad at Yu-Gi-Oh channels or anything, but you will see it. You'll see a bunch of top events, and whether Nibiru be in the main deck, okay. But you will always guarantee, for the most time, you will always see Nibiru in a side deck. And the times that you don't see Nibiru in a side deck is because the deck plays different. So if they're playing a different deck that they can't play with Nibiru, they'll take Nibiru out and they'll have a side deck designed for that type of deck. But that's only if they're playing a certain type of deck. And, because you can always make modifications of what kind of different sprite build you want to play, all that. So yeah, we just have nothing but content after content today. Okay, so the third one I kind of want to get out of the way quickly because it could go far too, but it's like okay, so this also goes to like every NFL team rather than just my Detroit Lions, but like. These articles, man. I don't know with these articles, dude. I really do. I've never like read articles, but like they could shoot out something quick. Like the good news is you can see this stuff quick, whatever your NFL team is. And you could try and see a pattern and actually get the real feel of your NFL team rather than just being a fan. Like, just get the feel of your NFL team, okay? So they're like, it's improbable that they're using really silly words. Improbable. It's improbable that Frank Ragnow will come back. Like that's an issue. You know what I mean? Like that's an issue. That's not even close to an issue. It's like been the whole thing of like, okay, it sucks losing your starter center. It sucks knowing there's a chance you're not going to be able to start a center. It sucks that Frank Ragnow, because the potential, the ceiling for Frank Ragnow, we hope he gets on the field, because the ceiling for him, the ceiling for him is he is like the top center. He's like the top center in the NFL. He's one of the top centers in NFL. So not just as like a fan thing, it's kind of like it gives you the vibe of we want him on the field, okay? But here's the thing that's different from a team that makes a team a good team, okay? What made the Lions a winning team last year, okay? And what makes them a different team is when they're not taking a player like that, okay? Like it's such it's such a majority thing that they want to go around, but like what makes your team good is building an O-line that doesn't need to depend on somebody, okay? Last year, the Lions were able to get wins without Jonah Jackson. And if you don't know anything about Jonah Jackson, it's Jonah Jackson had just a crazy stat of being one of the best run blockers in the NFL. That's why you always had these great run blocks by the Lions, the designs. It's why, like, when you were like looking at the top rankings and you're like, who would be a good O-line to run behind, it was the Lions, the Eagles. It was these different teams. And Jonah Jackson was not even out there, and they were able to take that out. And Corby, I can't even say it. Corby, Colby, whatever it is, source. He's a new guy, but like let me tell you, I was surprised that he fell that late in the rounds. I really was, because he was a top prospect for not like fans, not like for fans, but for people who are like scout and draft O linemen. He was one of the top prospects. So for the Lions to get him, that was a good move to get him. He was really like he was top ranked with three of the O linemen. He was in the 3 range with 3 of those O linemen. So if you can get that, and it's like O lines in NFL. The thing is, you're always having to have somebody out there. The Dallas Cowboys last year, their guy was out for the year, so they had to address that. But it was different because like the Cowboys lost an actual key piece on their offensive line. They lost I think his name was like Zach. So I always forget his last name, but like he was like a main component. He was a main component to the Dallas Cowboys offense, and but like Frank Ragnow. It's just different because like centers have been really hard to build in the NFL now. So basically, teams are having to improvise. Now they just have to improvise because they know that for most of the time centers get injured, and when a center gets injured, you're just gonna have to put out a new player for that. So, but that's what makes the article so stupid. It makes the article so dumb because it's like, oh, gee, I wonder what we're going to do, It's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. And NFL's like, the media is, that's what I'm telling you, the media is behind. Like, they're behind these coaches. It's not about the team. Every coach to every NFL team right now, like every NFL team, their coaches, they're all like really good coaches. They can't be like now Jim Caldwell. Caldwell is not even like a head coach. He's an assistant, and it's like. There was times I liked Jim Schwartz. I did. Jim Schwartz will always be like he's a very good one to look back at with coaches because he helped the Eagles win a Super Bowl. he's Jim Schwartz is like an anomaly of like you always have to pay attention to coaches because for the longest time like it would seem like Jim Schwartz is on another team. He's on another team, but Jim Schwartz was preferred than Matthew Stafford. Jim Schwartz was preferred than many different options. Jim Schwartz built a D-line out of the Eagles. Jim Schwartz changed a culture in the Eagles. But Jim Schwartz, like people like focus too much like on like they'll focus on Jim Caldwell, they'll focus on, but there's always that guy that just like he kind of like goes around and he goes around, but like you know about him. I even when people are critical to Doug Peterson, I'm like, you can't be critical to Doug Peterson. You could try and be critical to him, but like he has a different mindset. And even at like the worst tangibles, like even at Matt Patricia with his worst, you could still change him into an assistant, and he's still deadly because he still has different things he's thinking about in his head. And every year he's trying to think about how he can keep his job. It's like all the coaching staff, even the coaches you think would not be so good, they're all just adequate. It's very competitive. It's like they're all the same level. So yeah, so we're done with that, right? Okay, now this. Okay, so this, this I can't believe it. Okay, I might even like keep this same picture and have a part 2 with this. It just all depends. But okay, so okay, where to begin with this? Okay, Nintendo is not gonna let me post videos as much as I want, because like with Nintendo program, I think now they're only like, first you have to get approved for the Nintendo program. Okay, so you get approved for the Nintendo program, and I think at the most now they're only letting you do 2 of their titles, which is I think it was 3. I think 3 was the most. But yeah, they're limiting. I think they're still staying on the 2 though. Like only 2 games you can like record. Isn't that crazy? Like they have a list of like multiple games, but like it seems that they're only letting them record 2 games, and they have to like if you even get to the program and you get accepted by Nintendo of this program of recording their content, it doesn't. It doesn't go in your favor necessarily because you're still having to choose 2 options. Sometimes I've seen like I think people are just focused on the one option that they're recording because Nintendo does a lot of things with this. But so yes, I made another important drawing once again, and this one took a long time, but this one got easier. This one got easier. This one got easier with, but I had to be patient on this one too. Okay, so like these 3 things right here, they look like Mr. Game and Watch, but they're actually like Mario 64. And the reason we have fan art, we're not gonna fully shade them. We're not gonna even add the line design yet, where we can take a cut and make it look like a 3D object. We're not even going to do that yet either, because we have to do this bit by bit. Much as I want to jump into the Mario 64 secret, really hard to do that, but really hard to do that. Very hard. This one I recently discovered playing Mario 64, and it was on the Switch Online service, which I guess the whole point of playing Mario 64 on your Switch, the difference from playing it on a 64, is that the 64 does crash, and it overheats. The system will overheat. And the Nintendo 64, you will have to unplug it from the wall. But the Switch, like it's running a 64 game, so it can run it like forever and ever. And you can possibly see even new things from it too. And I feel like as much as I know that this could be part of like Shadow of Colossus, and it could be part of Mario 64's awesome secret. It could be a whole thing of different. There's been way too many beta pictures of Mario 64. So much that I just don't even jump into like this beta image. But I do almost think that this guy 100%, when he kept this beta footage, this beta picture, I do think it is legit because I think I did see it. but you always got to be kind of iffy on that. But like, it would be so great if we could just confirm his photo. But that's gonna be like an extensive research thing, So we're not gonna like go by that, okay? So we're always going by like the factual stuff, okay? So when you're playing Mario 64, it has glitches. The game just has glitches, but they're really hard to do because Mario 64 is pretty good design. Not all the glitches are hard, but yeah, they are very challenging. A common one you can look up that people were looking up, but this one was common. Most Mario 64 fans would find this one easy because it was that bomb field, and it was like Mario eventually would deframe himself, like his frame rate would drop once you got up to like the top of the hill. That one was like a random discovered by only a few of us, but then over time, because just the love for Mario 64. You'd take one picture of that video footage of that, and then it would be shown again, and then it'd be shown again, and then until it's shown again. But this one's completely different because I won't even like get into full details of because it will get confusing as soon as we talk about all the animations that's going on. But yeah, so when Mario's jumping or whatever he's doing, crawling, jumping, sliding, he can apparently get into this scary glitch, very scary glitch, very mysterious glitch where he separates. And when he separates like it's almost like I don't think seizure is the right word to describe it, but like it's like sporadic, like kind of like disappear again and again and again. And maybe it's easy just to do because in the game he has an invisible cap, which makes him into different particles. So maybe it's easier for him to do when he jumps. So like when he jumps, rather than having the tiny particles on his body, he's able to like split his body into pieces like that. See, we're gonna go into a part 2 in this. I already know we are, but basically he's gonna jump up and he's gonna split, and then split again, and then just do all. It's like. It doesn't split into a lot of things because it's doing it quickly, but it's so creepy because it's like it's quick. It's not going to be going for a long enough. Like it goes long enough for you to see it, and I have video footage of it, but I can't post it yet until the approval. But basically, when he does this, it's like it gets the arguments of like the previous power ideas, like maybe there was a different power idea, but it also gives you scary ideas too, and the scary ideas do make more sense to me, the scary ideas of it, of why he's doing all this. But okay, so it was kind of crazy because like once you see something like this, you see smarter stuff. So we're going to start getting into why it's Eevee, like Pokemon. We're going to start getting into Pokemon Eevee thing. And Eevee goes to like 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to like the 1, 2, 3, 4 thing. And it's because Eevee has, mirrored 2 E's mirrored. So it's having the 4. But as we know, 4 times 3, what's 4 times 3? 12. So we go to 12 gate. Okay. So we have to be like cautious when we're talking about this, right? So Eevee is still having, and another thing is it goes back to the cube. It goes back to a huge hype of that Shadow of Colossus secret that I revealed. It goes back to like the 4 sides. Okay, so there's 4 sides. Okay, and 4. It's just like it's like a believed thing of like how Cornelia was doing it, how like on Star Fox they were doing a square, and the square was kind of like used as kind of like even maybe a demo project for like when the spider attaches to Wander's head and transforms his head and everything. So Eevee An EV is just introduced in Pocket Monsters, but like you basically can keep on taking the V, and you can have all four of the E's, and then you can make it go in a circle and have the head, and it looks like it easily just makes the head too. As you can see, it just easily is able to shape the head. So the head's easier to shape with the V's.